Good day. Welcome to the Mr. B Workshop. My name is Neil Bailey-Harper, and the goal of the workshop is to share a passion for music, but also share an interest in life, talk about life with the people that step into the workshop. Some of them we're going to go through some musical things together, playing and singing. Some of them we're going to use music to kind of set the tone for the conversation we want to have. So stick in, hang in. I think you'll enjoy this. Talk to you soon.
We just go shyly lally boom bye.
Fly me to the moon. Let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. That song was Fly Me to the Moon, sung by Frank Sinatra, which brings me to my first interview today. It's my oldest brother. His name is Wayne Marshall. And Frank Sinatra is something that he passed down to us as kids growing up in Philadelphia. And it's not only the music that he's passionate about, it's his life too. So I'm going to talk to him about how we got to this stage with Frank Sinatra and about the stages he's gone through in his life. So listen to the interview. This is my brother Wayne and his wife Gerri Marshall. So, in this show, I'm going to interview a lot of different people, and we're going to use the music as a bridge for the interview. Now, the other thing is that in order to get this interview, you got to give me a verse of something, or at least a lick or a line or something. The first interview, you hear these guys. This is my oldest brother. This is Wayne Marshall and his wife, lovely wife Gerri. Hi guys, how you doing?
Hi.
Welcome to the Mr. B Workshop. Now here's the deal. It's 12 of us, and like my brother and I would say, we are the Marshall, Harper, Bailey, you finish it, Gardner clan. That's right. I'm not going to tell you, but I'm going to tell you my journey. I ain't going to tell you my business. Firstly, how you doing, Wayne? How you feeling? Hi, Gerri. How are you?
Hi.
How you guys doing in this new America, which I call it? How's life for you?
We're doing okay. We're doing okay.
I was sitting down already.
Yeah.
Staying down.
Okay. So,
He's not
Going out.
He's no longer
I'm
down.
not going out.
you're not going. Hey, it's 97 down here, so a lot of us ain't going anywhere anyhow. I don't care if it was a new America or not. It's been 95, 97 every day in this last week. So I got into a lot of music based on what Mom had us listening to, and what you firstly tell us. Give everybody the story of WWDB, the radio station where this all came from, where the Frank Sinatra thing started. Okay.
Well, I just got into Frank when I was in my early teens, just by mistake. You listen to the radio, things like this. And then one day I heard one of his songs, and it just took me up.
Do you know the song it was?
I think you have to understand, September of my years.
Okay. When I was 17, it was a very good year.
That's September of my years.
I got you.
I took that to see I was born.
Okay.
And also, Nancy Wilson had something related to that also.
Okay.
So that kind of got me, really involved with Frank.
Okay. Wow.
Frank, all of a sudden becoming a Frank fan.
Was that different? Where we grew up, was that a different thing?
Oh yeah, nobody liked Frank.
Yeah.
When we grew up, Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, I don't know if you remember Spencer Brown.
Yes, I do remember Spencer. Yeah.
Coming up, because I started liking Frank, Spencer started liking Dean Martin.
Okay. All I remember about Dean Martin originally was Matt Helm. I remember the Matt Helm movies.
Before that, so he was like, Dean Martin. We were hanging out.
When the moon hit your eye like a big pizza pie. That's a Martin. That's right. Okay.
So, coming up, where we grew up, it was all about jazz. Because Uncle Fidel was a big jazz person.
Right. Okay.
Frank Sinatra loved Ella Fitzgerald.
Uncle Purnell, for you guys to know, that was my mom's brother. That was our mom's brother, Uncle Purnell.
Yeah. Count Basie. He loved all of them. You know, so that kind of fit in with the jazz. Even though he didn't sing jazz.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it kind of fit in. Every time if you saw him on TV, he had Ella with him, Count Basie with him.
Yeah.
He nurtured Sammy Davis.
Yes, he did.
But he was a big jazz fan.
Right.
Uncle Fidel got me into jazz, and I got to hook up with Frank.
Wow, okay.
Frank's.
I remember years later going to his house in Baltimore too. He had a lot of records, a lot of albums, man. A lot of albums. A lot of liquor too.
His favorite show was Be the Gun.
Why? Because of the theme?
Yes, that great beat it had.
That was Henry Mancini.
Yes, Henry Mancini.
That's right, okay. Da 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 da. Yeah, okay, I remember that. I remember that. My favorite for the, you know, that kind of funny because my favorite was Perry Mason.
Okay.
I thought that was a great theme song too. Ba 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 ba.
I asked Gerri, I still look at him.
Yeah. I watch Perry Mason too. Don't get me wrong. I still watch Perry Mason. The old Perry Mason, not that new shit that's on HBO.
Yes. You know, the original.
Yeah. So I told this story when we did the podcast a couple years ago about the shrine. That my kids, I have two grown. My sons are grown now, 28, 26. But I tell the story, and I want you to tell them when they were 8 and 6, maybe 8 and 6, very young. I took them to my brother's house in Philadelphia, and we went down in the basement. And he has this little red area where there's a stool, a shrine, and once you kneel down on the shrine, Frank Sinatra doll starts to sing. Give me that. Tell me about that, man.
Okay, I love Frank.
Right.
For years, you just collect different things, you know. And people give me pictures, artwork, and that little doll of his, I saw one day in the store. It was Christmas time.
Okay.
And I hit the switch and he sang. I said, oh, shit, that's for me.
Yeah.
That's perfect for me. I still have it. You know?
Didn't you have a large picture didn't you guys have a large portrait in the dining room of him in concert?
Yeah. I had like 8 or 9 pictures of Frank Sinatra.
How many?
8 or 9.
Oh, I thought you said 89. But now I want to talk about you. Let's talk about you for a minute. Because here's the deal, y'all. Since I've started interviewing and doing podcasting things, it's an easy way for me to find out shit that I've never known. Personally, I'm finding out a lot of shit I've never known. And like I said, it's 12 of us, and God has blessed us where I will say the youngest one is over 50, and we're all still here. Yeah, we're all here. So we're incredibly blessed with that. But since we've been in New America, I've seen some text messages. We've gone back and forth with texting. And I remember one time you, me, Joyce, and all of us were texting, and Joyce mentioned to you some castanets that you bought back to her. And now I knew you were in the Navy, but I did not remember that. And that story led me to you talking about Martin Luther King's death, the night of his death. Tell me about that.
About Martin Luther King?
The night, where you were that night when you found out.
Okay. In April of 1968, I was on an aircraft carrier called the Intrepid. Okay, we were off the coast of Cuba, and we were doing what you call carrier quals. That's qualifications that any carrier does before it sets out to sea on its mission. Okay? So we were down in Cuba, and it came across what they call the 1MC. That's like the lounge, that's like the communications on the ship. That Dr. King had been killed. Well, on the ship, it's like 5,000 men.
Wow.
Okay? 5,000 men. And the carrier is pretty big. It can carry 5,000 men. The Intrepid was the biggest carrier, but I think we had like 4,200 of them at the time.
How many black men?
This is them again. When it came over the speakers that Dr. King had been killed, you could have dropped the pin on this ship.
Wow.
You could have dropped the pin because there was a lot of, out of the 4,000 men, I was a big 1,000 of black.
Okay. Wow, that's a lot. I didn't think that many.
I'm in a squadron, which is a different group, but it's assigned to the carrier.
Okay.
See, when you're in a squadron, you go to the carrier, do your job, and you come off. You don't stay on the ship.
Okay.
So I was in a squadron. In my squadron, I think there were 8 blacks.
Out of how many?
150 guys.
Okay.
But 8 black. Now, all of us had ranking. Okay? At that time, all of us had ranking.
Okay.
We were not enlisted people. We were border units.
Okay.
Okay?
Wow.
So, and we had a pretty good relationship with the white guys in the squad. But when that happened, I remember this one guy named Bam. He was from Alabama.
No, I was going to ask you, was he white or black, but never mind. Yeah.
So all the others we knew coming up to me, and the guy named Sharky saying, "Hey man, I'm so sorry."
Wow.
You know, my squad, we really got along. You know?
Right.
And there were no black officers in the squad.
Mm-hmm.
Only black enlisted.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to Cuba, and because we stationed in Jacksonville.
Okay.
Jacksonville arrived that night.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
So we came back in because we were ending up on qualifications. So we came back into the ship up to Norfolk. That's Virginia, got off to Norfolk and flew back to Florida. And I said to myself, we go to Norfolk, go to Cuba.
Yeah.
Then we go back to Norfolk, go to Florida.
Yeah.
We can't do that. So we got back to Jacksonville. It was 2 days before Dr. King's term.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, everybody was on edge.
Right.
The city was on edge, they had riots and all. So the Navy came out with an edict that said any black man who wanted to take off, the deal would take off.
Wow.
You know, Dr. King.
And this is in 68?
1968.
Right.
You know, so therefore, we all had, we had a day off.
So let me ask you something now. Fast forward to today. How do you feel about John Lewis?
About what?
John
What's
Lewis.
going on?
John Lewis just passing.
Listen, to see that, it's like incomprehensible. It's like incomprehensible, And listen, I came up to the Philadelphia riots,
Mm-hmm.
64, stood in the middle of that, and it was a 64 riot in Detroit riot, California. So every time, every 10 years or so, there's something that goes on. What are you talking about, John Lewis? Right.
Yeah.
There's something that goes on. And he was right there in the middle of the fights from the beginning.
Right. Right.
From the very beginning.
Yeah.
He was right there in the middle, of everything. He walked the king.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't as pronounced as king was.
Right.
But you knew he was there.
Yeah.
See, you knew he was there trying to effect change.
Right.
So he knew, he's 5 years older than me.
Right.
Okay, so we kind of came up at the same time, some of the same fights.
So when you say incomprehensible, I mean that word kind of threw me. Why does that make you feel that way?
In the days,
I was wondering that too.
okay, we had arrived in 64, and I said, it's incomprehensible that today things have not gotten so much better. They're a little bit better, but they still got a lot better.
Okay.
With all the strides that we were trying to make back then, with all the people that we had fighting for justice and equality, and things like that. Now, we didn't have Twitter and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But you had to be out there fighting,
Yeah.
and doing things and trying to bring about change.
Okay.
And, so if you go from 1960 to now, it's incomprehensible that we have accomplished.
Okay.
We should.
I got you. That was 25 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about that time. That time in your life then. Because then I'm going to jump forward. Yeah, get 25 years ago. Where were I was
in retail, went to the store, and then I got put in 3 stores.
Okay.
And it was doing pretty good. I wasn't knocking down all the doors.
Right.
It was pretty good. Gerri and I, we had a decent life.
The other thing I'm finding out too is the IQ of my family. I'm finding out that weren't you some kind of accountant in the Navy or after the Navy or something like that?
What?
Were you an accountant or something like that?
Yeah. Well, you okay. When I came out, I said, remember I was working at the University of Pennsylvania.
Right.
I was watching this thing, and I went into the service. So when I came out of service, I went back to that.
Okay.
And I ended up being assistant business administrator. The first black assistant business administrator in the medical school.
Wow.
You know,
I didn't know that.
had good people. Oh yeah. What happened, I was going to school at night, working in the daytime. And my supervisor, the administrator's name, Joe Beats, and he took a shine in me and kept me learning things, giving me more responsibility. And then there was a fellow named Al Beers, who was the chief administrator of Penn Medical School. He came to me one day and said, Bill Beats, he saw something about you. I understand you're trying to get your degree, and we like to make you a administrator.
Okay.
So what? I said, no, he says, but then understand this. You're going to be the first black administrator. And people in that room are not going to like you.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you were light skinned, that helped, right?
So, he says, what you do, you just follow my lead. Don't let them get under your skin. Don't let them come at you in the way that you don't like. You know? I think you can do this. So the first meeting I went to with all the business administrators, I was standing there, and there was a fellow named Jim Cavallero. Never forget him because we all worked together one time. But now he's in another place, and he's an administrator. And he comes to me and brought it's about 5 or standing having drinks and all. And he says, Wayne, that new NIH decree relating to incoming students, what do you think about it? Trying to, make it look bad. He asked about this new policy.
NIH?
Jim, yeah.
Okay.
Asked him,
Yeah.
I said, hey, Jim, I'm not sure. Why don't you tell me about it? I can try to put the ball in my court, but I bounce it back in his.
What did your father do, Wayne?
Well, after the military, he was a man. He worked for the postal department. He ended up being the vice president of the union, of the postal union.
Why did I think your father was a judge?
Because he got it confirmed. He's a very good boss.
Yeah. See, and the reason I'm asking this, guys, is because we all grew up in the same house. We are complete brothers and sisters, but we had 4 different fathers. And I always thought something always trickled down that your father was a judge that lived in upstate New York.
Because today was his birthday.
When?
Today's my father's birthday.
Really?
Yeah, July 19th. Yeah.
Wow.
Funny you should ask about that.
I had no idea.
No.
Took me 60-something years to get to that. I had no idea. Wow. But yeah, for some reason, but that's the story. I don't know where I got it from. But
I don't know either. Third Marshall,
yeah, and I used to think Bailey, Banks, and Biddle. I thought that Bailey was my dad too. The Banks in Philly.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, so I knew you did all the accounting work, but to me, I'm kind of glad you got into retail because I don't know what I would have worn had you not had you stayed an accountant. I don't know where I'd have got my suits from because every time I'd come to Philly, just thought you almost seemed like you were compelled to give me a box. Remember that? I would get a box of clothes. It was like 2-year-old suits that you didn't want to wear anymore. Just so happened we were the same size.
They may have been 3 years old.
Yeah, you may have been. Yeah. Now I know some of them came right off the shelf, but it kept me well dressed. It really kept me well dressed. All right, so now I'm coming forward, though. And you cut me off if you want. But last year, Billy, our youngest brother, and if we're going by numbers, Wayne's number 1, I'm number 8, Billy's the 10th born.
Right.
We're the only 3 boys. You weren't feeling, I'll just say you weren't feeling well last year. We drove to Philadelphia because Gerri had called us and let us know you really weren't feeling well. And we came up to kind of spend some time. Came to your room that night, you couldn't talk to us, and we decided to stay at a hotel 5 minutes away from your room. In case we had to come back in the morning, we were prepared to say goodbye.
Right.
That was a long night, brother. I'm gonna tell you that firstly. Secondly, on the ride to the back from the hotel to the hospital the next morning, I'm a little bit older than Billy, so I'm trying to prepare Billy, and my phone rings, and it's Mickey, who is number 7. And number 7 basically, she lives in California. Now we're 5 minutes from the hospital. I come back, and Mickey goes, he's fine. And I'm trying to prepare her, like, Mickey, he's really not. She goes, no, I just FaceTimed him. He's fine. so we're in the car, 2 minutes from the hotel. We got all this moods going on, and she just tells us she FaceTimed you. We get to the hospital, and you tell me, first thing you tell me, which was unusual, and I'll remind you of this. You told me to take one of your hands, told Billy to take the other. And that might have been the first time we've ever done that outside of the song we sang. And then you said FaceTime your family, because you wanted to talk to everybody. And after getting over the emotion, I remember when I found a light moment I wanted to ask you, and I still want to ask you to this day. Because you told me that when they put you under, you weren't really sure if you were coming back. And I wanted to ask you, what did you see? What was that like, man?
What's going on. You know you're going under, and your mind is racing in a lot of different places, and then just leave. You just go on.
Right.
And next thing they're bringing you out. But when we get into it, a lot of things go through your mind. A lot of things go through your mind. And like I said, I didn't really know how sick I was.
Okay.
I really didn't know how sick I was.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that Gerri would tell you, after I had that stroke, they called her that morning to get here right now to the hospital because they had to take me to surgery immediately.
Okay, but let me just put this in context for everybody listening. You might not know how sick you was, but you said after you had that stroke that morning. Okay, everybody, that was probably the 4th stroke?
Third.
The 3rd. This was after. This is a man. So here's my brother in a nutshell. This man had overcome cancer. He'd overcome 3 strokes, pneumonia, and he's telling you he didn't know how sick he was. He just said it. He didn't know. At what point do you think you're sick? I was sicker than you was thinking about all of this.
Yeah. When I had the stroke, so they came and they caught Gerri in the corridor coming in and said, sign here, we got to take him right in. So they took me in, I'll do what I had to do. And so later on, when I back in my bed, I woke up, it was Gerri. I said, hey, how you doing?
Yeah. Or the same night. So that was shortly after we left the hospital.
No, that was next morning, wasn't it?
Oh, next morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, no, I didn't realize that I had the stroke and my left side wasn't working. I said, "Gee, my son can't raise my foot,"
So what was the last thing you remember when you woke up that time? Was the last thing you remember before you went to sleep?
Very little.
Okay.
Because my stroke happened at night. I was barely asleep.
Okay.
And stuff, all these monitors. So they knew something was going on with me, and I was out.
Well, you weren't able to talk to us the night we were there. So the next day, I mean, it wasn't even 10 hours. It might have been, yeah. It wasn't even no more than 12 hours later. You were holding the conversation and you still had your hair. Yeah, and you still, and here we are years later. You still have hair, and the rest of us don't. I don't understand that either.
I need a haircut this week, I think. But...
Oh, okay. Are they coming in or are you going out?
No, I'll go out.
Okay. All right. So, you've had time, just like I've had time to sit home, see everything that's going on. What do you see?
See, I see my family. I do see my family.
Okay.
And things that are going on with their input to the family. And other things, those are the things I really worry about. The fact that I've been lucky enough to have the world and have some good jobs and relationships, that has helped me understand more.
Okay.
The person I am. But when I look around today, I can see family,
Okay.
I regret that y'all were what I had to go through,
Yeah.
This is 1964 all over again.
Yeah.
Everything's repeating itself, unfortunately.
Do you think it's going to get better? Do you think?
Well, the pandemic is here, so that's something that is a fact of nature.
Right.
We'll have that. There's other social things, So
Okay.
that's something. Black people get out of it. Yeah, because as he's called, that devil in the White House. But you Republicans be able to say, you Republicans would say, hey, let's do better.
Right.
So they'll be able to say, let's do better.
Do you think it's going to? Do you think things will change? Things will change for the better.
It's going to take time.
Okay.
It's going to take a while. If we have election in November and he's no longer elected, it's going to take another 3 years for us to try to get back on track, or to get back on track. Because he's put such ruts in the road that have to be filled in.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take time to do it. It's not going to happen overnight. It just isn't.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So you're older than me, so talk to my kids. Tell them something that I can't tell them. Well,
okay. What I would tell my great nephews. Listen, guys, trying to find your place. Not your daddy's place, not your mama's place, not my baby, but your place. And when you find your place, put your roots there and grow from there. And you got jobs and all that. Just find your place, put your roots down and grow from there. Taking all you can take in. And definitely be listen to learn. Listen to learn. Because that way you can expand your horizons and get to your potential.
Okay. Hey, we got a party coming up sometime. Go ahead.
I think the nephews got a great start in that direction.
Okay.
They took a party.
Yeah, I said you got a party coming up eventually, right?
Well, we had to cancel that deal.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen soon, though.
The birthday's going to happen.
Yeah, the birthday's going to happen. The party can happen any day you party at your birthday, so we ain't gonna worry about that.
Yeah, that's true.
What's the opening song? What's the opening song?
Well, you
Yeah.
My way.
No. Here's what I would like. If I had a party, it would be New York, to start it off.
New York.
Then in the middle, it would be that's very easy explaining life and all, right? And at the end, it would be my way.
Okay. Which one are you gonna sing? Or you want to sing them all? I just need to start practicing. I just need to start practicing those songs, so I'm ready to go. Right now, I just got "Fly Me to the Moon." That's all I got right now. I need to work on the other ones. Well, listen, man. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for doing this. Yes.
I'll tell you something you don't know.
Okay. There we go.
His name is Frank Sinatra, correct?
Correct. I think.
Okay. Yes. His son is Frank Jr., right?
Right.
They call me Frank Jr. Okay. To be a junior, you have to have the same name as your founder. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. He does not have the same name as his father. Guess what his name is?
What?
Not Francis Sinatra. It's Francis Wayne Sinatra.
Did you call him up and have that negotiated? Or is that this is a true story?
Yes. His name is Francis Wayne Sinatra.
Did you negotiate this when they wouldn't let you in the 5 Club? Is that reason? Is that part of your negotiation for not going to the club or something? I don't get it.
But, it's like they call him Frank Jr. He's not a junior.
But he's not a junior.
His name is Francis Wayne Sinatra.
Okay. All right. I'll bite. Hey, listen.
That's true.
Okay, I believe you. I'm going to work on the music. You stay healthy. You guys stay healthy, okay? I'll talk to you guys soon. Love you, Gerri. Love you, man. Talk to you guys soon. That was cool. That was really cool. You guys gotta understand, I love my family so much, and to be able to talk to them, I always find out things that I didn't know before. And that's the kind of things we want to do in the workshop. So if you got a piano and you want to learn how to play, we can talk about playing the piano, but at the same time, I want to talk about your life. I want to talk about what we see and what we do, and not only the passion for music, but the passion we have for each other. So thanks for coming. I'll see you again with a real cool interview very soon. Have a good day, everybody.
Ooh, shally-lally, boom-ba-yay. A funny little word. It's making me say, shally-lally, boom-ba-yay. Shally-lally, boom, shally-lally, sing it every day now. I sing it every day now. Ooh, I say, shally-lally, boom, shally-lally, boom, shally-lally, boom-ba-yay.